So Joan of Arc versus William the Conqueror. This is the first instance we've had a woman warrior on the show. And also, this no one really mentioned this, but this is the first instance we had a woman expert. Like, I actually researched her, and I think she's like a French model or journalist. I don't know, but I didn't really get anything about weapons experts, so you guys gotta fill me in on that. So anyways, I'm going off topic. So Joan of Arc versus William the Conqueror. Spoilers. Joan of Arc wins, and I know a lot of people are gonna be mad about that, especially guys. And speaking honestly, I was not surprised by this outcome. Like, when I first heard this outcome, like months ago, I thought Joan of Arc would lose, mainly because, not because she's a girl, mainly because William the Conqueror, he has a lot of battle experience. Like, he's the one who charged into battle, like commanded the troops, and he had the bloody campaign and stuff. And Joan of Arc, to my knowledge, she never technically fought. Like, she was mainly the girl who led the army. Like, I don't know, maybe I hope a historian watches this so they can comment on this video and tell me I'm wrong, but according to my research, she never technically fought. Like, she was the inspirational voice for the French. Like, she was John Connor. Like, yeah, that kind of person who can, like, when she talks, she can inspire you to fight for her. So, but then when I actually thought about it a little later, she has like I believe a 300-year advantage. So, and this is Deadliest Warrior, like, even though they're taking now into account like battle experience, tactics, and other stuff, not just weapons and armor, this show still is primarily based on that. Like, since this is a computer-run simulation, like, they let the computer decide who'd win, the computer is gonna take more into account, like, the concrete evidence than stuff like experience and tactics. Like, those kind of stuffs are like, what's the word? Those kind of stuff is like, they're not solid. I don't know how to put it, but they're not as solid as like weapons data or armor data. Like, so the computer is gonna be a little bit more biased towards the weapons data and stuff. And also another complaint I heard, not besides Joan of Arc winning, is the fact that she won. That a lot of guys tried to downplay her victory because she won with a squad of men. And I'm gonna try to retract that, because Joan of Arc and William the Conqueror were leaders of armies. So is it really a surprise that she had an army, that this was squad based? I mean, like really think about it. Really think about it. Is it really surprised that she won, that this whole simulation was squad based? I mean, like, a lot of the famous people they show on the show, they should have had a squad-based team, like William Wallace and Shaka Zulu, and in fact, every single leader on the show should have had a squad, even if they were like ancient warriors. They were leaders of armies, like they were famous for leading armies. So the fact that she had a squad is not a big surprise. And also, she had a cannon. That's a gunpowder weapon, and according to the show, like from past episodes, they always do squad-based episodes for people who have gunpowder weapons, or yeah, or black powder, whatever. Those kinds of weapons, all right. And what else? So the whole episode, okay, I'm gonna focus on the episode now. So the whole episode, I know I mentioned in my last review, like, I like the new changes, like, I like the touchpad segments, and I like the segments where they actually have the creator of the weapons talk about the weapons. Like I'm learning stuff I didn't know about, like catapults um or even cannons or other stuff. And also like the segments where Dr. Doran is just talking about the health or the height or how physical they were when they were at their prime. You know, I like these segments. Like it feels more like they're trying to examine them as a warrior rather than just as like people holding weapons. Like it feels more like they're examining the person rather than like in the past episodes, like they would just examine the weapons, and you know that's cool and all, but it's not. It does. It's like you can examine William Wallace's weapons, but you're not examining who William Wallace was. Like you can have any random guy holding William Wallace's weapons, and it would still be that you would still get that result in that episode. Like it could be changed if you add in like how tall he was, how physical he was, how diseased he was, or just how aggressive he was, how smart he was. These make it more. These changes make the show feel more like they're trying to examine who really is the better warrior, which is good, because that's what the name of the show. And, anyways, nothing else to really talk about on the show, but I guess I can go into the test and the simulation. I'm gonna talk about the simulation first. I'm gonna work my way back. The simulation was not impressive. Like when I watched this, it was. Okay, I'm gonna explain what happened. So we have William the Conqueror. It starts out with him like he's like, "Oh, you stormed my castle," and then we have Joan of Arc on the outside, who's like she's kneeling down with the sword like in front of her, and she's like praying to God. Then she stands up and she shouts for her men to charge the castle. So there's like a little medieval siege here. Joan of Arc shoots the cannon. William Conqueror's team shoots the catapult, and eventually Joan of Arc breaks through. And one by one, the soldiers are killed, obviously, until it's just Joan of Arc and William the Conqueror. William gets beat very easily. I mean, all he gets is like one. All I remember him is just like swing his sword once at her. It hits her chest, but she has the plate armor on, so it just dents. And then Joan of Arc stabs at his legs, then takes out the sword, stabs his other leg. Then William the Conqueror goes for another stab. She grabs his hand, stopping the sword, which he's bigger than her, so I kind of don't see that happening. But anyways, she grabs his hand, then stabs him in the chest, and it goes right through because it's chainmail. He dies. He falls, and Joan of Arc, she stands in victory and gives a war cry. So, it wasn't really that impressive. I mean, like, I don't know. It just seems like it just felt like generic people fighting. I mean, like, I don't know. It seems like the tests are getting better, but the simulations are getting a little bit more boring. I mean, like when I think about season 1 and season 2's simulations, simulations, those were kind of cool when I think about it. I don't know. This simulation didn't really stick out to me. Like I didn't really see anything impressive, and the end fight scene, the final sword battle between Joan of Arc and William the Conqueror ended too fast. But that's just my complaints. So last thing I'm gonna talk about, the test. The test, let's see. The first test was, let me think. It was the long-range weapons, which was the cannon and the catapult, and the cannon won very easily, mainly because it's a freaking cannon. All right. There's a reason why people started using cannons instead of catapults. Okay, like, okay. And the next test, it was the crossbows. This one I was kind of surprised with because Um, Even though like Joan of Arc had the crossbow that required two people to reload it, and William the Conqueror had the crossbow where all you have to do is just like crank it back and shoot. I thought William the Conqueror would have had got that, but they gave it to Joan of Arc, and they only gave it for the sole reason, Claire Dodan, the expert, she hit more targets than the William the Conqueror expert, which I'm not really that surprised because this is still Deadliest Warrior, and this is mainly like whoever was more impressive in the demonstration is gonna get the point, regardless of the advantages of having a single reloadable crossbow. What else? In the final, okay. There was the tactics test, and they examined the tactics between the siege of Orleans, or crap, I took French class and how do you pronounce it? Orleans or Orleans? I don't know. They examined that against William the Conqueror's victory at Battle of Hastings. And they gave this one to William the Conqueror mainly because, according to Richard Mack, he said Joan of Arc got lucky because she caught the British like off guard, whereas William the Conqueror, he actually used like thinking to win that battle. And okay, okay, that makes sense. And in the final two tests, they examined the armor and the sword. And this is the first test that they actually have the experts wear the armor while swinging the sword. So this was actually a mixed bag. Like, Joan of Arc won in armor, because, it's friggin' plate armor. The sword, like, William the Conqueror, the expert, he swung at the armor, it just dents. Whereas, Joan of Arc's, when she stabbed at the chainmail of William the Conqueror, it goes in really easily. So, yeah, she got the armor one easily. The sword one, they gave to William the Conqueror, mainly because it's bigger. Yeah, okay. So, let me think. Okay, so Joan of Arc actually got 3-2. So, yeah, she had this victory. Like, experience or not, she had this victory based on technology. Like, I know a lot of people will argue, oh, wait a minute, William the Conqueror had, like, more battle experience, and he had tactics. Just remember, this show favors technology first. It favors technology over the person. Okay? Just take that into account first. They are taking more into account the person, but it's still mainly a weapons show, right? But overall, this episode was okay. I mean, like, I didn't like it as much as the George Washington episode, but it was okay.